Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. Today I have a bit of a treat for you. This is a prototype of the not yet available 2022 Moser Cie Endeavour Center Second Concept Lime Green. If you're interested in the watch, again, not available now, but reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com and I will route your interest appropriately and move to the next step if possible. But today we're talking about just the basics. So this watch, which is new for this year, is a revelation and a revolution as Moser takes its traditional fume style dial to the next level. So let's talk about the dimensions. 40 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel. It is 11.5 millimeters thick, so fairly svelte, and 47.3 millimeters from lug to lug. It has a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now there are features of this watch that may be subject to change, but as of right now, the kudu strap is factory spec. And you can see on my wrist, 16 centimeters in circumference. The watch wears nicely. I could recommend it for a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. And you can see how the lugs come nowhere near the edge of my wrist. It's also nice and flat with a concave bezel. It'll fit underneath a tight sleeve or dress cuffs. This is absolutely a dress watch and a unisex option, but it is sporty for a dress watch. So don't think this is going to be stuffy or perhaps pretentious in a way that a conventional Calatrava might be. This is a dress watch that you can also dress down. Taking a quick look at the strap again, kudu. And if, like me, you needed to Google that animal to know what it looked like, I don't blame you. It's a rusticated, minimally processed texture on the top, almost like a very rough and rugged suede. And then you can see it's all light gray. It's got a sheer cut side showing the layers of leather, a monotone stitch. On the bottom, you can see that this is a brand new Moser factory strap, elephant gray, as it were, and the factory spec should be very similar to what you see here. Now we have a pin buckle in steel to match the case, and you can see it features branding as well as a contrast of polish and satin. The case band is quite handsome. As Moser watches tend to be, it has a wonderful complexity to it because it is first machined and then hand finished. So that's how you get these deep hollows and black polished mirrored concaves. It is a multi-step hand finished case. There is a conical crown with a little bit of a knurling outboard and a Moser M. Then we have a bezel that is very slightly concave. It's not a perfect conical slope. It does bow in a little bit. We have a lightly cambered sapphire over a dial that starts as a solid disc of gold, the way fine enameling often does. Now this dial features a hammered-like texture, so what you see is not just the vitreous paint fired atop, it is also the brutalist texture of the gold plate that sits below. Now, this is also a concept dial, and at Moser, that means it is unadorned. There's no printing, no indices, no branding, no city or nation of origin, and yet you know just by looking at it that it is a Moser. So the timepiece features what Moser calls a fume fade from light at the center to dark at the edge, and this is known as lime green, so even the edge is a little bit lighter than even the center of some of the darker fume dials. We have slightly faceted polished leaf style hands for the hours and the minutes. Then we have a slightly rolled violet fired counterweighted lancet style seconds hand, and that's important because that's your cue that this is no mean Moser. There is something very impressive within the movement of this machine. Now the timepiece of course features grand faux enamel. It takes about 1 hour for the artisan to apply all the enamel. 3 different colors are ground up to create the vitreous or glass based paint, and then it is fired up to 12 times to create what you see here. A quick note, this is a hacking seconds movement, so if you pull the crown you stop the seconds hand. Although there are no indices or hashes, you can set it precisely against a reference time. Now turn it over, and what you're looking at is fundamentally Moser's manufacturer caliber HMC 200. The movement uses a magic lever style bidirectional pawl-based winding system, pivoting on ceramic rotor bearings for high efficiency, and it energizes a 72-hour power reserve. You can see that it's built rugged as the same movement powers a number of Moser sports watches. It has a full balance bridge and is a free-sprung balance. What's impressive here is that Moser builds all of the challenging parts of the movement. Bridges and plates are easy. Wheels are a little tougher, but regulators, balances, hairsprings, and escapements, very, very challenging. You could see here we have 2 flat hairsprings, both made by Precision Engineering, Moser's subsidiary that focuses on micromechanical components. And because they are flat hairsprings, by orienting them 180 degrees opposed, you create a condition whereby any change in the position of the watch relative to gravity will speed up one hairspring, and the other one will slow by an equal and opposite amount, achieving instantaneously what Abraham Louis Breguet's tourbillon regulator would have accomplished over 24 hours in a pocket watch tourbillon. So this is all the benefits of the tourbillon without the expense, without the thickness or the maintenance costs, and it's brilliant in its simplicity. And of course you have that violet fired seconds hand and the blued balance bridge on this reverse side to let you know that it is there. All of this is 30 meters water resistant, so it's not an aquatic sports watch, but nor is it a conventionally fussy dress watch. It's definitely a little bit sporty, raffish, and rakish for a dress timepiece, and it is as ambitious in its watchmaking as it is in its artistry, beaten away at 6 beats per second on your wrist. Again, this is a prototype, but reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for additional details when they become available.